Hello everybody. I know that it's been a long time since I've recorded a video where I'm actually talking to you guys. So my midterms just finished, but I made these videos while I was prepping for the exams and I couldn't upload it because our exams don't have any gaps. So we have consecutive papers one after another, and exam week is just stressful at all. So this semester I'm studying 5 subjects, 3 of which are electives and 2 of them are fundamentals. Most of the courses are based on the core aspects of biotechnology, including agricultural biotech, medical biotech, and environmental biotech. Apart from that, we have a fundamental course on genomics and proteomics, which is giving me a really hard time, along with this environmental crap. And we have one other course as well, and I'm finding it difficult to recall, and virology. So virology is one of the most beautiful courses that I've studied up till now, and it's just so amazing. There's no class that's boring, and even though I've studied virology way back from Professor Vincent's channel on YouTube, the professor that is teaching me is just wonderful. He's also one of the few scientists who are working on immunoinformatics in Pakistan, and his thesis was on HIV-1. One of the things that impressed me the most about my instructor was that he had a 98th percentile on the molecular biology subjective exam of GRE. So I visited the website to learn more about the subjective GRE, and I found out that subjective GREs in biology are no longer being offered, and I think it's such a waste that they had to shut down the programs, because I think that giving a subjective exam would have been a huge boost in order to correctly identify where in the world you stand in terms of the knowledge of the subject that you're trying to pursue in your graduate studies. And I think it would have been beneficial to really understand if whether we have the aptitude for a certain discipline that we would like to choose for the future. So let's continue with environmental biotechnology. First off, I took this course because everybody's talking about green stuff and saving the planet and blah 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 blah, and I thought, wow, it would be amazing. It turned out I'm actually enjoying agricultural biotech more than environmental biotech, because I was dreading agriculture, and it turns out that agriculture is as fascinating as it could get, while environmental is just like, I don't know, I would say environmental is just trash. Also, the first thing, that environmental biotech is completely different than ecology or environmental sciences, because I was expecting that we'd be studying your trophic levels and all that stuff, but it's nothing like that. And in environmental sciences, we also study some part of geography and the climate and all this stuff that affect our environment. I know this because one of my friends took this course many years back when he was doing his undergrad. So I was expecting that it would be somewhere along those lines, but boy, I was in a shock, because environmental biotech basically deals with all sorts of issues that we have to deal with: environmental pollution and how we use different things to remedy the problem. For example, we studied water pollution, air pollution, and land pollution and stuff like that. Now, it's interesting to a point where you are learning new information, but all of this boils down to using bacteria or using strategies involving microorganisms, fungi, algae, stuff like that. Basically, so you're trying to come up with ways to spend less and get more out of your bugs and stuff like that. And in Pakistan, the major problem of my country is waste disposal. There's just so much pollution. There's air pollution, there's land pollution, stuff like that. So on a collective level, this course will only be beneficial if there are actually research labs or stuff like that are actually doing something on a larger scale in terms of bioremediating the environment. So when I sat down to study for my midterms, this course became a nightmare because there were just so much stuff to gobble up, and I couldn't understand what I had to learn and what I had to skip, what was important and what was not. And my exam was just awful. I mean, awful is a lesser degree to what I feel right now. It was terrible because everything that I've studied over the weekend, over the 4 days that I've been studying this tragic subject, all got jumbled up. Now, the subject, I mean, we've been taught this subject in the most amazing manner. However, the amount of material that we were provided was just so huge that that I almost gave up. And when I went to the exam hall and I just sat down to take the exam, I couldn't recall all of the stuff that I'd memorized, and I figured that this is not going to be the best strategy for the future. Now, all these flowcharts did help me, but during exams, I had no time to bring them up looking this fancy, and so I made them on paper. And if you can see this is how they look like. And now that you're seeing me doing all those switchy swashy stuff on the screen, I used Coggle and Lucid Charts. Now, all I did was I typed in Google how to make flowcharts or free flowcharts, and it gave me a link of all these stuff, and I just used it. However, when I had to make the water treatment cycle, that mind map didn't appeal much, so I decided to go into the process flow diagram. And I had used Lucid Charts before for my virology exam because learning about virus morphology was very, very difficult from list-based lecture. So I had to come up with a plan to tabulate all the viruses. And I found Lucid Chart a few days before my environmental exam. So that's how I realized that Lucid Chart is the best option for a process diagram, and that is why I use it to make a flow chart for how water is treated. Apart from these courses, this would be my last last year for coursework, because apparently we were to start our thesis from next year, but that timeline has been shortened. We'll be starting our thesis right after the semester end, which would be somewhere along the mid of June. So yep, tough times ahead, and I hope that you enjoy these videos and get an idea of how to study effectively and quickly, and how to make boring stuff easier to understand. I have an upcoming video on gene therapy, which is one of the topics for an article that I've been writing on the course of medical biotechnology. I have yet to decide the topic that I'll be choosing for my thesis. However, we have 2 poster presentations headed our way at the end of the semester before my final exams, and I'll be presenting 2 research papers. One of them is related to agricultural biotech, and the other one is on environmental biotech. And I'm trying to figure out a way to reduce the solid waste problem that my city continuously faces since the last few decades. And there has been considerable amount of work done, research work done by wonderful scientists from Karachi and all over the world, and I'm trying to consolidate all of it to present it in a poster so that I can find an effective and less costly ways to address the problem of disposing waste in my city. I'll be talking more in my next exam prep, which would be like 4 to 5 videos, and then we'll be starting our series on gene therapy. And I'm telling you that gene therapy lectures are going to be so amazing, because Mostly people know that gene therapy is used to correct a faulty gene or remedy a problem that has been transferred genetically. However, most people do not know what is inside the package that you insert into the human body that is supposed to work as gene therapy. And we're going to talk about both the nucleic acid therapeutic systems as well as the delivery systems required for successful gene therapy. And then at the end, we'll be talking about some of the successful cases. I plan to start the series within the next 10 days, so I hope you check back when I do. Until then, take care and have a nice day.
Pa ty, do vinje ditë kur s'do qesh me dashni